And here we are again, Hornets, ready for another rousing round of Ready Workbook Fun. Yay! This time we're getting our workbook out and we're opening it to page 156. So if you haven't done so already, it's time to go ahead and get that out. I've already done my setup at the top of the page, reminding us that we are analyzing the structure of dramas. And when I say analyze, we're breaking something down. When I say structure, I mean the stage directions, dialogue, and acts and scenes. Remember that stage directions gives us the setting, the characters, and even the tone that's being set in the drama. Gives character traits and motivation. Dialogue gives us it moves the plot forward, and dialogue, remember, is between two or more characters. A monologue is a long speech by one character to other characters. And we're going to have a monologue in what we're reading today. A soliloquy is when one actor is on the stage talking directly to the audience, like thinking their thoughts. An aside is meant to be off to the side. It's not meant to be directed necessarily at any one character. It's just kind of like that inner thought bubble that they've kind of got. We just get to hear it. Acts is the large part of the play, and it's broken down into scenes, kind of like chapters in a book. Okay. And when I say drama, I mean anything that is scripted, performed, and acted out. That includes plays, musicals, movies, TV shows, skit, YouTube, TikTok, podcasts. You can even add to this anything that's got a script that's meant to be read from and acted out. Okay. Now, um, I'm going to do what I did yesterday on the other one, and I'm going to go straight to our questions first because you need to make sure you know what you are reading. All right. So, right here, we're going to start with this and we're going to look at what it wants us to look at first. So, my directions, somebody use the hints on this page to help you answer the question. So, when I look at number one, it says state which stage direction shows that Mr. Frank, his speech has calmed, this is our key word, his daughter. So we're going to go back up here and I'm going to make a note to look for stuff that calms Anne. Okay. So that's question number one. That's what I need to find. Now I'm going to go look at question number two. And question number two says, what can you tell about Anne's relationship with her father, Mr. Frank, from the dialogue and stage directions? So the next thing I'm going to go back, I'm going to add for question, I'm going to add a number two. And I want to know her relationship with her dad. Okay. I want to know, is it positive, negative, or neutral? And we'll see if that tone tries to help me figure out their type of relationship. And just in case you forgot, there's all our stuff that deals with drama. Okay. So, question number three asked me, explain how Mr. Frank's actions and words shows that he wants to comfort his daughter, but is also afraid for her. I'm going to come out here to the side and I'm going to write the word comfort. And I'm also going to come over here to the side and I'm going to write the word afraid. So that way I can remember that I'm looking for evidence to those. Okay. Now, my hint over here on the side that tells me that there's going to be a monologue. So, and then I'm going to go back and look at my text and let's see if I can find a long speech by any one character. And so far, what do I see? Well, I see Mr. Frank talking here. I see Anne here. Mr. Frank here and here. Mr. Frank here. So far, not a lot of talk, not a lot, long speech. Anne here. Mr. Frank here. Still never, we don't have a long speech yet. And oh, there we go. Here is my long speech. So this is my monologue. Okay. So that's where we're going to get that's where we're going to get our answer for our writing question. Well, part of our writing question, because it's asking us about the monologue. Okay. Now, with that in mind, we can go and look at our actual play. And so that way we can keep in mind what our questions are. Okay. So let's go look and let's do our other stuff that we're supposed to do. So, my instruction, to read part of Act 1, Scene 2. And we're going to use the study buddy and the close reading to guide. And we're going to go ahead and box our title, Diary of Anne Frank. And we're in Act 1, Scene 2. So we want to number our paragraphs like we normally do. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. All right. Now, with that, remember, I'm not going to read this to you. You're going to read it to yourself. So go ahead, pause the video, take your time to go through and read. And remember, we're looking to see how he calms Anne. And we also want to look at their relationship. And we also want to find proof that he wants to comfort his daughter and that he is also afraid for her. So we want to make sure we're looking for those things as we read. Okay, so my study buddy up here tells me that sometimes people's actions tell us as much about them as what they say. As I read, I'm going to look for examples of stage directions that tell me more about the play's characters, and that's dealing with motivation. So go ahead, read, pause me. I'm assuming now that you've read and that you have come up with some ideas. So let's go look at our close reading. And it says, what does Anne's reaction to her father's monologue or speech reveal about her character? And we're supposed to circle the stage directions. And notice it says stage directions that answer that question. So let's see. Now, the father's speech is till the end, so I'm not really a big fan of how that close reading is sound. But stage directions that give us some stuff about Anne and her relationship with her dad. Let's see. We've got in paragraph number 2 where she throws her arms around her father. We're going to circle that. That's a big deal. She's giving him a hug, which is positive. Okay. And anything else that shows, according to the stage directions, her reaction? Good job. You found that all the way down here that her panic is gone. So hopefully you also realize that if her panic is gone, she is now calm. Okay. And then our next piece says that we want to underline the benefits of being in hiding that Mr. Frank lists in his monologue. Then we want to draw a box around earlier stage directions that shows he knows his family is in danger despite his reassertion, which is, if they're in danger, that means he is likely afraid for his family. So, what did you underline that he lists are things that are benefits for them, but for her, a 13-year-old girl being in hiding. Well, one of the things is that Meep bring that. Okay, so the first one is there are no walls or bolts or locks that anyone can put on your mind. The next one is that we'll read history, poetry, and mythology. And then he's going to even give us this nice little one right here that says certain advantages for you. So overshoes, because that way she never has to wear overshoes again. Overshoes are kind of like galoshes that she doesn't like wearing over her shoes, and she won't have to do that anymore. So that's never have to wear overshoes. And also, obviously, she doesn't like playing the piano, so she won't have to practice on the piano anymore. So those are all things that he's giving her to remind her that being in hiding isn't quite so bad. That even though she can't leave, She can't make a lot of noise. She can't do a lot of stuff during the day. There are benefits to that. So let's go and look at our questions again. So let's see. Our hint over here asks us which stage direction appears after the father's monologue, if you get stuck with this question. So, number one, which stage direction shows that Mr. Frank's speech calmed his daughter? Well, she starts down the stairs. She's not panicking yet. She's going down the stairs because she doesn't think there's any problem or any trouble yet, because that happens earlier. So that's not our answer. B says Anne realizes what going into hiding means, and this is when she starts to panic. And if she's starting to panic, she's not calm. C says she throws her arm around her. She throws her arms around her father. Well, that's a hug. No panic. And if she's not panicking, she doesn't need to be calm. And then my last one, it says Anne's panic is gone. Well, if I go back up here and look at even our text, I even wrote underneath Anne's panic is gone, which means that she is now calm. So our best answer is going to be D. Number two, our close reading hint over here says, how does Anne react when she opens the carton? So that's her, what does she do? We already read that she said she hugs her dad. She loves her dad. She hugs him. That's a positive trait. So we're going to, number two says, what can you tell about Anne's relationship with her father from her dialogue and stage directions? Well, we already know that it's something positive, okay? So A says she's angry at her father for grabbing her arm. Well, that's not right, because that's a negative, and that's not true. She's surprised, not angry. So that can't be my answer. B says she has a close relationship with her father. Well, that's positive, having a close relationship with your dad. And if she's going to give him a hug, I'm assuming they're on good terms. That's a maybe. C says she doesn't respect her father's decision. Well, that's also negative, and we don't get that at all. She even says, I see, agreeing with him that she can't go outside. She doesn't fight him, doesn't argue. And then, so that can't be our answer. D says she wishes her father would treat her like an adult. There's nowhere in the text, that's also kind of negative, that she thinks this at all. That's not even part of the play. So that leaves us with our best answer and only positive one to go along with a relationship with her dad as B. And then we're going to get down to number 3. Explain how Mr. Frank's actions and words show us that he wants to comfort his daughter. Well, what did we write up here about him comforting his daughter? All this big list right here, he is doing to comfort his daughter in paragraph 10. They reminded her about her imagination, that she's going to get to read all these books that she likes. She's never going to have to wear clothes she doesn't like anymore, and that she's not going to have to practice the piano. Those are all things that he is doing to comfort her. So then we look, so that's, I'm going to put paragraph 10 in its list. So that way I know to go back. And how do we know that he's afraid for her? Well, it also says up here, right here, I should have boxed that. Right here, he even yells out, and no, and that exclamation is he's trying to get her attention, catches her by the arm and pulls her back. And then he even tells her, it isn't safe. You must never go beyond the door. So, and that's, I've got paragraph 3, paragraph 7. So I'm going to come over here and write that for my evidence, that I need to make sure I go back to that to write my answer. So let's see what you get. So you take this time to pause and go ahead and write your answer. Remember to start it with the topic sentence and all the things that you're supposed to do. And you can use this little area over here on the side to write your little rough drafter to pull your evidence to see how you want to do this. On the side of mine, I have the things that I pulled for quotations and for being afraid and for comforting. So go ahead, pause me, and get that done. And now that you've got that done, I am going to show you mine. And for some reason, my underline's not there. So in the Diary of Anne Frank, I got to underline titles. Act 1, Scene 2 by Francis Goodrich and Albert Hackett. Anne's father, Mr. Franks' actions and words show that he wants to comfort his daughter, but he is also afraid for her. He tries to comfort Anne by telling her that no one can lock up her mind and list out the benefits of going into hiding, such as not having to practice the piano. Also, he puts his arms around her to help ease her panic. However, his earlier words and actions show that he is afraid for her as seen in the stage directions. He goes after her, catching her by the arm and pulling her back. It is not safe for her to ever go beyond the door, which is why he grabs her by the arm to stop her from leaving the attic. Therefore, he is able to keep her calm while still being worried about her safety. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guys and ghouls, is our part 4 for the Diary of Anne Frank. As always, if you have any questions, please ask. We are here to help you and make sure that you are doing your very best. So, with that, bye, y'all.